Hello, my awesome second grade artist. I'm Miss Tracy, and I'm back again with a new lesson that we're going to start this week. We're going to be making these abstract cubist style trees. So in this picture, you can tell that this is a tree. It looks like a tree in autumn or fall because of the color of the leaves, but it doesn't look like a tree in real life, does it? This is abstract. It means it looks like a tree, but not how a tree would look in real life. It's changed up a lot. And the particular style of abstract art that we're using is called Cubism. You see lots of geometric shapes. So instead of leaves that are curvy like we would normally see, we have geometric shapes that make those up. And Cubism was invented by a very famous artist named Pablo Picasso. This is a picture of him. He is considered to be one of the greatest artists of all times. He was born in 1881 and he died in 1973. And he was from the country of Spain. So here's a map of the whole world. We live here in the United States of America. If you cross over the Atlantic Ocean, Spain is right there. It's in Europe, the continent of Europe. That's where he was from. And like I said, he created the style of Cubism. This is an example of one of his Cubist paintings. It's called The Three Musicians. So again, these don't look like real people in real life, but you can tell that there are musicians, three people in this painting. There's a person here. It looks like they're playing a clarinet. See how he's holding it with his hands? Here's one with a guitar. And then here's another person holding the music. So Cubism tries to show all the possible viewpoints of a person or object all at once. You see all of the different angles. And the artwork looks like they're made out of cubes and other geometrical shapes. So it's very different than how you see things in real life. And that's okay because paintings don't have to look like they look in real life. A painting can look however you want, and you can just be very creative, and that's what Pablo Picasso did. So I'm going to go back and show you. We're going to be using watercolor paper, and we're going to use black Sharpies, and we're going to use magic markers, and I'm going to show you how to make those markers look like paint. So it's going to be lots of fun. So to begin with, your teacher's going to give you a piece of watercolor paper. You need to put your name label on the back. And we are going to turn the paper vertically. So the long side is going up and down. And before this, I did want to remind you, before starting this lesson, teachers, there is a video on YouTube called Pablo Picasso Cubism. And I would love for you to show it to your students. It kind of explains Cubism in a way that they will understand, okay? Then we'll get to doing this project. So you turn it that way, and then the very first thing we're going to do is I have some pre-cut strips of black paper, and that's going to be our tree trunk. So students, use your glue stick and put glue on the back of it. Really good. See how I'm doing it really good and getting lots of glue? And then just at the very bottom, make it go all the way to the bottom in the center, glue that down. Press it down like that and make sure it's glued down really good. Now, I'm going to start drawing with my Sharpie, but you can start with a pencil and then go back and outline it later, okay? But we're going to use a Sharpie. It's very important because later we're going to be adding water to this, and a Sharpie is a permanent marker. It won't bleed. So to begin with, I'm going to start up here with the tree leaves, okay? So I'm going to start at the corner of the top of the tree trunk, and I'm going to make a very diagonal line that kind of goes like that, okay? And all the way to the edge of the paper. And then I'm going to start at this point and do the same thing on the other side. All right, now we're just going to make some lines that go up, straight up, and kind of rotate around. So you can remember how we can draw with our finger first to kind of give us an idea. So I'm going to start right about here, and I'm going to go all the way up with another one. All the way to the edge of the paper. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go all the way straight up. And I'll do one more here. So you should have about 5 or 6 of these spaces like that, these shapes that look like that. Then we're going to go inside each shape and create more shapes, geometric, so we're not using curvy lines, we're only using straight lines. So go inside that first shape on the left and start making lines that kind of divide it up. Remember, I'm just making straight lines. Some are up and down, some are diagonal. Some are close together, some are far apart. You want them to be very different. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Don't make your shapes too small. It'll be really hard to paint it later. That one's diagonal. I think I'll come down with another diagonal and go straight. You can even come in and make some that go crisscross like that. See how that crisscrosses that? I'll make some like that. You don't have to do yours exactly like mine. Yours needs to be how you want it to look because it's your piece of art. It shouldn't look exactly like mine. It's not Miss Tracy's art, it's your art. Teachers, just make sure they're not putting their lines too close together. Like I said, that'll be very difficult to color later if they do that. Make sure they're only using straight lines. No curvy lines in this project. We've used a lot of curvy lines, but we're not going to on this one. Okay, so that is my tree. Those are going to be all my leaves. And then I'm going to come towards the bottom. This is the center, but I want to come down some. And I'm going to make a line that goes straight across. I'm going to have to pick it up where the tree trunk is. This is my horizon line where the sky meets the ground. And so now I'm going to go across again and make another line. I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to make different straight lines to divide up that space. Only straight lines, never curvy lines. I think I'll make an X there. I'm just thinking as I go. I'm kind of concentrating. It's good when you're doing your art if you get real quiet and just really concentrate on what you're doing. One like that, and then one like this. Okay, so I've divided that space up. I think I'm going to put one more there. All right, and then if you drew all that with your pencil, you'll need to go back now and outline it with your black Sharpie. All right, now it's going to be time to add the color. This is the fun part. So up here, you need to decide what color. It's probably going to be best if you use warm colors here and keep them all warm in case they bleed together. Remember, warm colors are like red, orange, yellow, pink, all of those colors that you associate with warm things. So I'm going to start out with a red, and I'm going to take my marker, and you just start, it'll be good if you start on this side and work your way around. That way you won't be putting your hand in something you've already colored. Start at the top and go around. So I'm going to do this shape, and I kind of turn my marker on its side a little bit and outline that shape. It makes a thicker line if you turn it on its side. And then I'm going to go in with my wet paintbrush and just kind of paint that shape in. And see how it bleeds? And it turns into more like a watercolor. All right, so really though, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, I think what you need to do is go in and do all of your red ones first. So you'll just have to be careful. Just don't put red next to red, and be careful to not put your hand in something you've already done. So I think what I'm going to do is go in and I'm going to outline all of my red ones, just spacing them apart, not next to each other. I'm not going to do all of them now because I don't want this video to be too long, but I'm just going to do a few. Then I'm going to get my wet paintbrush. Don't make it too wet. So you see I dip it in the water, and then I just kind of drag it along the side so it's not too wet. And then I just come in and paint that in. You want to do this all in the same sitting though, because if the marker gets too dry, it won't do this. So like, don't let them outline it and then come back next week thinking it's going to do. They need to do it as they go. They need to be adding the water as they go. That's very important, teachers. Okay. So you see there, that's how those are going to look. So let the children do all that. Every time they change a color, they need to rinse their brush out so it doesn't blend. Okay, now on this part, you can do blue for your sky. And so you need a little bit thicker of a line this time, but we're still just outlining it. So I'm going to go once, and I'm going to go back again and make it thicker. This marker is getting a little low. But the good thing about doing this project, it makes your markers go farther. Because if you were coloring all of this in blue, it would use a lot of ink from your marker. So since this is such a big space, that's why I'm going to outline it and make it thicker. So now I made sure I've cleaned my brush out, and I drag it all on the side so it's not got too much water. And then look at that. It's just like magic. I'm really get in there, pick up that blue that you just did. When your brush starts to get scratchy, you need more water. And it's just turning that marker into paint. So pretty. Okay. And then you will go in at your bottom. The last part will be your grass. You'll do that in cool colors. And you'll just do the same thing, painting each section as you go. Adding water as you go. Remember, don't let the marker dry from week to week and then think you can come back with the water. It won't work. It'll be too dry and it won't blend well. So let me show you my finished one again. So I've gone in with all of that. I've kept my warm and then my cool colors down here. So just in case they overlap and blend, they'll make a nice color. So I cannot wait to see what you come up with. Your teachers will be sending these back to me, and I'll put on Artsonia, and I'll keep some for the art show even. So do your best. Try really hard and make yours look nice and really good. And I will see you next time. Bye.